Maverick and Barber a little bit. So let's talk about Maverick Barber first, though. Last weekend, I think everybody pretty much agreed that Miranda Maverick did enough to win the fight. And this really, like I said, wasn't one of those situations where we can just say, okay, we were picking a favorite to win, because even a lot of people that weren't fans of Miranda Maverick, they had to kind of go back and retract and look at what they saw and see that she did enough to win the fight. So there are going to be situations where we have fights that are close and you got the casual fans saying, oh, it was a close fight, but it was a robbery. You know what I mean? So you're going to have situations like that. But this one here, I think it was a clear-cut case of bad judging. Honestly, it was just bad judging and, like I said, incompetence or, being in the bag. And that's something that young fighters got to deal with. Like somebody, Miranda Maverick, young prospect, trying to climb the ladders. She was in there with an opponent, I believe is someone that, the UFC really wants to hype up. And this came a time when her, as a prospect coming in, Miranda Maverick got introduced to something new, a different type of adversity. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't just the opponent you have to worry about, it's the judges. Because, if you don't do enough, or if you don't knock your opponent out or submit them and don't leave it in the hands of the judges, things like this happen, and that's why that's something that a lot of people say, because, the judges, they will, if they are in that bag, if they have their way, if they have their hands in it, they decide your career. And for somebody like Miranda Maverick, you got to think, look, okay, this was a time when I put in enough work, dedication to win the fight. Like I said, my honest opinion, she did enough to win round 1 and 2. Like, after going into round 3, my mind frame was Maycee had to stop her, right? I think that's a lot of people's mind frame when they were watching this fight closely. Miranda Maverick outstruck Maycee Barber clearly in the first 2 rounds. Effective takedown in the second round. Bang, 2-0, 2-0. Third round comes, Maycee all of a sudden just changes everybody's mind, and boom, she wins the fight. You know what I mean? So that's the type of things you have to look out for. Young fighters have to see that, because like Miranda now has to deal with this robbery. Okay, her fans might agree, and hundreds of thousands of people and millions of people might agree. Like I did my video talking about as a robbery. Pretty much everybody agreed with me. Over almost 1,000 people seen the video now, and they all think Miranda Maverick was robbed. But that's still not enough, because it's still going down as an L on your resume, and then it's going to affect your money. So with judges, they affect your money with these type of moves. We can call it robbery all day. We can say you did enough to beat that person. You have their number, but they got the W, you got the L, but they got the bag. It's still going to come down to money. They'll still make more money to you, because the next thing is, when judges do things like this, they affect your ranking. And they affect who you fight. You drop in ranking. With Miranda, she's going to be from 14 to maybe 15 now. And now with that ranking, you're not up in line up to face top level competition now. You're going to be facing lesser opponents if they have their way. If the matchmaker say, oh, you lost this fight, we're not going to give you a number 8 or number 9 now. We're going to give you an unranked or somebody right below you or above you. Wow. Somebody like Maycee, they move up. They move up. So you're still going to be on prelims, and your longer goals will be kind of shut down at the time. So progression is a thing. Judges stop your progression. They have that in their hands to stop your progression. That's why I say we need better judges, man. We need better judges that understand they have the fighter's career in their hands, and they have to judge this thing on a fair scale and a similar scale to the person sitting next to them. That's why we say to judges, you have to fight all 3 of them plus your opponent. It's because they're looking for 3 different things when they need to all kind of be on the same page at this point, because I think it's clear, like I said, I feel she won. And even if a fan of Maycee Barber can say she felt she won, or Miranda Maverick won, then that's telling you something, right? So yeah, man, it's just like that. You just got to look at all of this, man. Judges, they affect your money, they affect your rank, your position, your progression. And with Miranda now, like I said, this is kind of a setback, which might be a good thing. Now she can go back and work on some things that she necessarily didn't have in this fight. She can perfect those things and move on, you know? So moving on from here, yeah, of course, it's going to slow the progression down, but you can also see a positive to it as well, you know. But I understand that's something that these young fighters got to look out for. You know, judges, man. You know, this is something they have to look out for. We need better judges, man. We need better judges. Somebody asked me this the other night, like, what do I think like can be done about the judges? Well, I think you need to get people who are familiar with the fight game. You got to get You got to get former trainers and trainers. You got to get former fighters, and you have to get these type of fighters and trainers that, of course, they're in no relation or they have no affiliation with those camps of fighters. They can show no favoritism. Of course, that can all be ironed out at some point. But, you know, you got to have those fighters that don't have any affiliation and just want to be able to judge a good fight, or not a good fight, but just judge a fight. You know, just want to be able to sit back and judge a fight. Also, there has to be some type of crash course or semester where these judges have, if they're going to do this, if they never fought before, they have to go into some type of training and watch fights and understand what to look out for, what should be scored, and how it can be scored in a fair way. You know, some type of scoring where it's like, okay, you have to understand what is a significant effective strike, when a takedown should be considered as a big jump over someone controlling you with their hands all day. You know, combinations and stand-up control for about 3 rounds, for about 3 minutes of a round, should be rated higher than just one takedown. You know, one takedown should not change the course of a round. Like even with Velasquez taking down Keelholtz in the 3rd round, Keelholtz was out striking her, but with Keelholtz, I went back and watched the fight again like a 4th time. And, you know, with Keelholtz getting taken down by Velasquez, I think that persuaded the judges to just say, we're going to give it off a takedown, you know. So there's got to be some type of course for these fighters, you know, for these judges to come into play to make them understand fighting, especially if they never fought before, you know. So, yeah, man, that's something that fighters have to look out for, man. Just judges, man. Like, that's something that we've been having a problem with, just competent judges. Some fighters not even watching the fights. You know, it affects everything. Like I said, money, rank, progression, everything. But yeah, shout out to Keelholtz and shout out to Maverick, man, because, you know, we got to see a sport do better. You know, I know we say don't leave it in the hands of the judges, but that's for the purpose of having judges, man, that are going to be fair and know what they're looking at. You know,